have this week's video, and this week's video, I am going to be talking a little bit about what we did last week. So that's just it. If you have a question, yeah, Hashira, what's your question?
Abeg, please play that Jody finish. Play
No,
that
no,
one
no,
finish,
no.
abeg boss.
Thank you very much. We'll not be doing that because it's already time. Maybe next next session, if you come on time, then you can make all of your music requests. Any other questions, guys? Before we proceed to the business of today, that means I'm lost. Kachi, you are not lost. Don't worry. I will go over what we did last week and try to see if that will help. Any questions, guys? Raise your hand or drop it on the chat section.
It's about the last week part. Was it posted? I didn't see the video.
Come again. What did you
The,
say?
the video was last class.
Yeah, I just said the video to the last class is not going to be available because it got corrupted when I was trying to what's it called compress it to down so that I can post it to a postable to make it postable because the size I am recording is just crazy. When I was done recording, it was over 100 gig. I cannot post it there, so I had to compress it. So while I was compressing, I guess the app I was using to compress the video messed it up and it got corrupt, so I could not post it anymore. But then I'll go over what we did last week before we proceed. Yeah, what's your question, Kachi?
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Kachi.
So I was going through the Flutter docs, like the Flutter tutorial
Yeah.
on their website.
Mm.
So I saw something about handling or managing states rather. So they were
Yeah.
like, there are three ways to manage states.
Mm.
Either you, like either a class manages its state, or is passes the state management to a parent class, and then mixing it up. So I want to understand like your perspective on that because
Okay.
I somehow understood it, but I want to get another perspective.
Okay. So, state management is a very crucial thing in like Flutter mobile app development or whatnot. So, you know what states are, right? So, states are like the various states or the various states that your app can be in at a point in time at a given point in time. So, an example of a state is like a loading state, a success state, a failure state. Yep. So other states are like exception states and all of that. So handling states can be done within a class, just like you said. A class can basically manage its own states by using the set states. What's it called? The set states method. Then you can actually handle the class again by you can actually handle the state again by using a parent class where you can employ the use of external packages and incorporate them together using dependency injections and all of that. So, an example of one of the state management tool or packages, the one recommended by the Flutter team and Google is Provider. So, Provider is a state management tool that follows the what's it called sorry, I've forgotten this term, inheritance pattern, in the sense that it's you create like a parent provider class, then every other descendant inherit from that parent provider class, and then they watch for changes from that provider class and updates then it updates its state by using the notify listener what's it called method. So don't worry, going forward is something you will understand more. We'll do a talk on explaining and understanding state management in Flutter. But for now, we are using the conventional set state, which is handling it locally with the provided set state. I hope that is
All
understandable.
right, thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome, sir.
Yeah, but that's great.
So any other questions, guys, before we proceed? You have a question from last week's class? Yeah, I've started recording, promise. I have started recording. You have a question from last week class? You have anything at all that's outside of the whole class and session? Let's have it. So today I might be doing a lot of copy and paste because I'm not going to lie, I'm not in the best state of health and all of that. If you notice, I've not been able to like send messages to the group in a while. So I will try to answer as many questions as I can and try to explain as much as I can instead of having to write everything from scratch. Just pay attention, and I might write everything from scratch. It depends. So if there is not going to be any questions, so we'll just proceed to the business of today, and I will do that by closing my private projects and opening my sharing my screen. Wow, wow, impressive. I forgot that I was recording 99. Okay, I think I did not show. I almost showed a part of my private project. All right, so let me share my screen while I do that. Your entire screen. For you guys to see my screen, let me wait for now. Yeah, I hope this guy doesn't lag today. So let's open our app. Oh, impressive! It's already lagging. Maybe lag. Okay, so what's the name of our app? Safe GDSC SSA tax management. Let's open it in this window. And let's close this guy. Let's close this guy and stick with. Yep. So I'm going to start my simulator. Then I'll walk us through what we've done so far over the past three classes. Simulator, where are you? Okay, then I will do it like this. Yeah, you simulator. My simulator is not able to boot. I think I have to debug what's wrong with it. Let's do 14 Pro. Please boot. Please boot. Please, I beg you. Ah, thank you. All right.
All right. That's true. I have a question about Flutter dev in general. Yeah, I hope I can ask.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so well, I'm not a stranger to Flutter.
Yep.
I've been doing it for like a month now.
Yep.
So when I looked around for like maybe internships and what's it called again? And some jobs. I'm seeing that okay, you must have a mark. That's one. Then I'm not really seeing much internships. I don't know whether you can speak on that.
Okay. The thing there is currently the tech ecosystem we are at a particular phase where people are more than like they people are joining every day and they're already good people. Do you get the way it is now is far different from the way it used to be, in the sense that then there were not much people and you could almost get a job almost instantly when you start looking for jobs because these skills are sought out for. Do you get? But now people are seeing that okay, this particular line of job is having a lot of potentials, so they are getting into it. And now companies are being careful not to just hire anybody because of the fact that a lot of people are joining and it is very very easy to lie on your resume. Now it is even very easier to pass interviews because you have materials like ChatGTP, GPT, and all of that to help you with all of those interviews and all that. This guy is not loading. I guess we'll not use this guy today. Maybe we might use the Android. So about the internship thing now, the thing there is, given the fact that you are able to get a senior dev or an intermediate dev that will do what you want to do for you, that will do what you want to do for you in no time. So most companies don't see the need for taking an intern that is going to waste their time because these people are there already. They can do it. Like I'm not going to say the market is saturated, because it's obviously not saturated, but at this point there are a lot of people entering. So most companies don't see the need of wasting time on one junior level engineer and as an intern trying to build them and build their product and still train that intern and all of that. You get, so most people just want to like sharp go for like somebody that can build it maybe like very very fast, and in maybe like the price for an intermediate engineer is different from the price for a junior engineer and a senior engineer, so a senior level engineer and all of that. So most companies will just go for like maybe an intermediate engineer, so if they want to build products fast like on time. But then that's one of the reasons why all of this internship is scarce, and the reason why it was popular back then, it was more back then, is because there were very very few engineers, like very good engineers available. But now you have access to a lot of good engineers, so why would you want to waste your time in taking a junior engineer? So that's like one of the cons and reason why the internship roles are not much. But then you are definitely going to find an internship role. You will get. You just have to keep on searching and put yourself out there. You get, put yourself out there. And right now, most of these people that are giving internship are like more like this. Let's say people like what's it called? This,
Like startups.
yeah, startups. What's the name? I'm trying to remember this name of this this there's this particular body. I can't say it's a startup because they don't have like a product. They always host this boot camp. I say boot camp internship every year. So I think they do mobile
Is it
using,
Andela?
not even Andela, using Flutter
Is it
and
HNG? Is
HNG.
it
Yeah,
HNG?
yeah, yeah, HNG. So there are other bodies like HNG. There's Root Hub. There's so many, but then all those guys, they are just like these organizations that just try to train students, and they're just trying to train entry level engineers and all of that. So,
HND does not train. Oh. Those guys are die.
but then
Those guys
if
are
you know what
die.
you are if you know what you are doing, you'll be able to survive HNG. But I'm not going to lie. I think I've taken HNG twice and I could not complete it. Not because I don't know how to do it, but because I wanted to do HNG for the fun of it and for the fact that okay, HNG finalist and all of that. Because I have, like, all of my friends are HNG finalists. But then I could not do it because I had a full time role and I had school at the same time. And like you say, HNG na die. They can give you very, very unrealistic time frame. They will give a designer 4 days, give a back end like 3 days. Then you that you're writing the code, building both the front end and integrating the back end, they will give you like 24 hours. Submit by 6 o'clock or submit by what, and that time is unrealistic. And they are doing these things because they have like 500 people in one track, so they want to reduce the number. Like, they want to reduce the number. So that's why they do all those stuff. So I could not keep up because of it was really really crazy. I could not risk either my school or my job because of the HNG finalist title. But then it's a good thing. It's a good thing
Okay, so
if you
so
can
what the
progress it.
advice now as
If you can,
juniors in this line? So what the advice even after this
okay.
bootcamp? What the advice
So
us
for
to start
juniors in
doing?
this line, right? I'm not going to lie. What I will advise is this: build, like, if possible, right? If possible, make sure you have something you build like every month. Have a particular thing you build, no matter how small it is. Maybe it's a weather app, it's a simple animation app, but don't jump into animation now because you get confused. But then if you have the knowledge and whatnot, you can do it. Maybe it's a simple grocery app, it's a simple whatever app. You get an app that does this, that does that. It doesn't have to have like a complex backend to it. You can just use Firebase. These things will build your skills and will make you get more knowledge in the programming line and in the Flutter world. Like, you get to understand the framework better, because building all of these things now, you face a lot of issues and a lot of bugs that maybe when you get a full-time role now. So let's take for instance, if you're building these platforms, one of the things you must do is what? Authentication, sign in, sign up. So out of every 10 apps, 9 out of every 10 you need to do authentication, sign in, sign up. So imagine you've built like 5 apps with like that having the authentication, sign in, sign up, and all of that. If you get a full-time role or like maybe like a contract, you know it's not going to be that much of a hustle because you already know it. You already know it, and you can just quickly whip up something and all of that. So one other thing is try to seek for internship, but before you seek out for jobs, please be confident in yourself that you are good to an extent, because I'm not going to lie, running to look for job, it is very tempting, like the money is tempting, but then you get a job and you get frustrated. You get, they will task you to do a particular thing, you get frustrated. One thing, you spoil your name. Number two, you are killing your own self confidence, because you feel like you are bad, you cannot meet up to the task, you cannot deliver. But then the problem is there is you did not really pay the price to learn properly, to practice. That is why you are feeling like that. So you rush now and go and collect a job and go and start looking for a job, or you find a way to maneuver, lie on your resume and all of that. You get a job, they give you a very, very simple task, and you are running around, and it's just so bad. It's very, very disgraceful. So just try to push, look for internship, make sure you are practicing,
Right.
show out, like showcase your presence in social medias like Twitter. Okay, hi guys, this is what I did today, practicing Flutter and that. Okay, I was able to build this. If you have questions, you can throw it out there as well. All of those kind of things. You think you're not getting noticed, but there are people that are watching you, that are paying close attention. It is not easy to do these stuff, but then you can actually do them. It's just one word for that summarizes all of this, is just consistency and hard work. So you can do it. That's just the whole
Like,
thing.
thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. So let's jump into today's session. So last week, I think I'll have to cut this video. So last week, we did. Let me debug while let it load. So we did the form page, where we covered reusable widget and text form page, text form widgets, which is widgets that you can use to enter your name, password, email, that you can basically use to enter your text. And you see how you can, we teach on how you can validate that form and all of that. So today what we'll be covering is the home page. So we did sign up page last week. Because the video is missing, I will just try to do the login page again, so that we can cover that one. Then we move to the home page and we'll build the completed page. So we know that next week what we are coming to do is handling the states, loading states, error states, then any other thing that has to do with sending to backend, sending to Firebase and integrating Firebase, all of that. That's what we are doing next week in the final session of that concludes this, what's it called, this our app, that concludes our our management app, tax management app. So it's launching Libra. It's debugging on my virtual device. So if you have any questions, you can raise your hand or drop on the chat section. Yeah, what's your question? Go ahead.
Okay, so concerning tax management app, are we going to be setting reminders? Like, are we going to be using a package
No,
to set reminders? Like,
we are
okay,
not.
well,
We are not setting a
remind me about
reminder. We are
after
not
tax.
setting reminder. This app
Okay.
is just as simple as whatever you can think of. So the tax
Okay, so we're
says,
just doing crop.
yeah. So the tax says to the goal here is to make you understand how, like, how you can use your widget, how you can manipulate them and all of that. Now you have to go and build them yourself. It's just like, when you're in school now, they do a classwork and they give you homework. The reason for the homework is for you to go home and face that challenge. So when you face that challenge of trying to solve that thing you were taught in the class yourself, it gives you more knowledge. So now all of those things we are doing, and the reason why we are releasing the videos is so that you can go and watch the videos and then try to build it yourself. You face bugs, you face error, you fix it, you ask questions, we fix it for you. Then you think of ways to improve the app, because this is like a very very simple app and minimalist to call. So you find a way to like improve it. And if you notice, I don't do some things complete, I just do them halfway, so that you can go and think of how you can make it look better, make it look fine. But then I am currently recording a video, which is building a food delivery app, which I'll be releasing after the bootcamp is complete. For those of you that the food delivery app that we were supposed to build from start, but then we changed the plans because we calculated the remaining time if we are building that food delivery app or more. By now, I don't think we'll be like 40% done. Even if I plan on doing like a pre-recorded session, then asking you guys to watch it, then we come live. We are not going to be halfway done, and you'll be properly confused. So that's why we are building this simple app. Then you can go and build it yourself, try to make it better, and then I will be releasing the videos for the food delivery app, where I'll be doing in series. I think by next week, God willing, I'll release the first video, then the second video, then the third video. You can go and watch and do that alongside. Is anybody hands raised? If you have a question, ask. Yeah, if you have a question, ask. I can't see the call screen, so I don't know. I just hear the sound.
Okay, so I don't know why I'm the one asking all the questions. I apologize, guys. If you have questions, you can jump in. Okay, so the question I have is about Mac. Okay, having using a Mac,
Mm.
using a Windows to develop Flutter. So um, we know that most of this application building, a Mac is more favorable. So, but what is your experience like building with Mac or building with Windows? Does it really matter?
So I'm not going to lie here. Building with Mac is just, so long as you're a Flutter dev, there's no two ways about it. You have to like build with Mac, and it is more convenient building with Mac because you get to test your iOS app and your Android app at the same time. But then when I started, I'm not going to lie, I used my first PC then was a Samsung. I used that Samsung for a year to like get my feet, learn. Then it had a fault. Ah, Jesus, I saw it had a fault that was somehow technical. They had to change the board. I go through all those mess and all of that. I tried to fix it and all of that. Then I think after I fixed it, like 3 months after I got fixed, it was not working perfectly. I think maybe it's a contract or like something. Then I bought another PC, which is a Lenovo ThinkPad T5 T something, sha. So it was good then, but the only downside to it is that I could not test on iOS. I could not really see how it works on iOS and all of that. I could not build for iOS. I could only build for Android and all. But then I guess there's a package now that you can. I don't know. You can. I don't know. But I don't use that because I'm using a Mac currently. So far, the only downside to Macs, if you're not using an M1, is just
Please, what's the package, bro? Please, what's the package?
I think I'll have to check for it because I don't use it. But then I saw it then when I was trying to see if there are ways I can cut sides. I'll check for it and send it to you. So the downside to using a Mac if you're not using an M1 Pro, an M1 or anything within the M1 chip circle is the battery life. The battery life when you are running a simulator and you are trying to like run Android Studio or something. I don't know. Me personally, I prefer to use Android Studio, and this Android Studio kills like it drags your PC's battery. Do you get? It drags battery. The simulator drags battery and all of that. So that's just like the downside to using a Mac if you're not using an M1. And we all know how expensive it is to get one of this.
Damn expensive.
Can't we use a visual machine to compile for iOS?
Visual machine. I think I've heard that people do that, but then what is most better than having to do it yourself, where you see every possible errors, because it's not the one way thing. Oh. So let's say, for instance, you're using camera, you're using a feature that allows, maybe on register now, we have a small something that receives, that asks the user
I
to.
need to compile while we
That
can run on a physical device using a virtual machine.
that's what I'm telling you. It will not work because iOS will ask you. You know how Apple are very very strict with their product. So let's say you are using what's it called? It's going to work, but then you will not see the errors there until when you want to try it or you want to deploy. Then you start seeing certain errors like you did not add some permission, and I don't know how these virtual devices work compiling. So you have to get the errors on the logs before you can know that, okay, this thing is what is happening. So I don't really have idea of how these virtual devices work. But the best thing is, if it works then. But the best thing is, it's sweeter if you have like, or it's even more easier if you have like your own PC. This is not for you to go and rush and get a Mac or find a way to enter BC and get a Mac.
What of this CI/CD now? Code lab
Hmm?
office.
Code Lab.
Yes.
I don't use
Code
Code.
space rather. Code space.
Code Space, I don't use them. I'm not going to lie, I don't use them. If I want to push to app to Play Store, I do my things directly from Xcode. If I want to do
But
Android.
Microsoft recently gave me code space.
Huh? Yes, there's Code Space. There's Very Good Ventures. Do you know about Very Good Ventures? There is
And this week,
this other magic something.
this
Code
is our
Magic. Code Magic.
Code
Code
magic.
Yeah.
magic. I use code magic. CI/CD.
Yeah, so you can use all those things, but I don't use it because I don't know. I prefer to go the traditional style. All right, so I think we spent a lot of time answering question, almost an hour. So, guys, this is what we did last week. Register. So this is our register page. If the form is not valid, validate. If it's not valid, we cannot go to the next screen. Being that if we don't have any of our details here, we can't go to the next screen.
You will go through this conversation again, please. I missed it.
All right, so let's locate that one. So we'll go over it then. Okay, this is the page here. So what we have here is we have a scaffold, an app bar, a text widget. We have a column widget. Then inside of the column widget, we have a text widget, a text form widget, a text form widget, another text form widget, then a button widget, and inside of the button widget, we have another text widget, which is the button label. So this is basically it here. This is our scaffold widget, then our app bar, then the text widget that takes the app bar label, which is register. Then we have a padding that gives the space here in the column. So we wrapped our column with a padding, which is by giving it all sides. So I think left, right, top. Okay, we can just refactor this guy to, since, okay, let's just leave it. Let's go. Let's not secure time. So this is our column. In our column, we have another padding, and our padding's child is this our text, which is state management account. So we wrapped it with a padding so that we can add more space at the bottom and at the top. So the font size for the text is 16, and the font weight is W500. Then here's our form now. So our form widget helps us to validate a text form widget. So the form widget takes in a key which is used to monitor the state of the form. So our form widget now takes in a child. That means it can only take in one widget as a descendant. But now we need it to have three widgets as
Form
its
widget
descendant.
and text form.
Yeah?
I'm getting confused. Form widget and text form. I'm getting confused.
What did you say?
The form widget and the text form. I'm getting confused.
Okay,
Which is the
the
parent?
form widget is another widget on its own that works hand in hand with the text form widget. So this is the text form widget. You cannot see the form widget here. The form widget does not it's not something physical that you can see. It's just like a container that you use to wrap your text form, then to validate if the text form is let's say you do not enter a name now. Do you get? So you use it to validate that text form. When you submit, you ask it to check if that text form is valid. You check the state of the text form. If it is valid, then you submit, else you return the error from the text form widget. So this is what we did here, which is the form. The form widget
Okay,
here.
we wrap the form inside the text form widget.
No, we wrap the text form widget, which is this guy here. You can see this guy here,
The form.
yeah, inside the form widget.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is our first text form. This is our second text form. We wrap our second text form with a padding so that we can add space at the top and at the bottom. So which we did here. Then this is our third text form. This guy here. Okay, this is the guy. This guy here, which is this third
Sorry,
guy.
Marvel.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, okay. So is it like the HTML tag, form tag in HTML?
No, no, it's not. It's not like that. It's not like that. It's not like that.
Okay.
So you pass in a key.
Sorry, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, you use the padding in the middle text field. Couldn't you have used the size block instead, or you just prefer to use the padding?
Yes, I just prefer to use a pattern because you know if we are going to use a size box, I'll have to add a size box here and a size box here.
Uh,
So that's just like more like repetition of code when I can easily do it with one thing. With
oh,
one,
okay, all right.
yeah, do you get? So with this padding now, I just added space at the top and at the bottom, which solved the problem for me.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so now we passed in a global key we created, a global form key we created to our form, which we use to monitor the state of the form, which is if it is valid or it is not valid. So you know when you are
What's this form key? What's the
hmm?
type?
Is a
What's the type of the
global
form key?
is a global key, is a global key
The type, the data type.
data type. Final global key is a global key of type form state. Is a global key of type form state. I don't know if you get.
Oh, kind of confusing.
Don't get yourself confused. Just know that because if you want to get yourself confused, you get properly confused. Just know that it's a global key of a form of type form state. So form state now with this form state, you can use it to manage the state of a form. You can pass it down. So you can have some other type of global keys. You get it's just basically a key that you use to monitor the state of your form. So it's a global key of type form state. So now we now in our button, which is this guy here, we now say on pressed, which is the submit here. So we say on press, you check if the form key dot current state dot validate. That means if this form key and at its current state is valid, we do this, navigate to our next screen, else you return the normally by default is it's going to return the error. Then I did this because we were trying to debug to see if it was called or not. So that is just it basically. So what we are going to do currently now is is to create the login screen. So this is the register screen. So let's quickly create the login screen. And I was going to do a copy and paste, but based on the fact that last week's video is not available, so we'll just do that sharply. So from now henceforth, you can just drop your questions on the chat section because time is fast spent and we have to do a lot of things, and I also have to get on with some things. Okay, so let's do that under this guy here. So under our button widgets, yeah, this is it here. So we can just add a text widget. So simple thing to do is let me copy and paste this my guy, our first text widget, which is welcome. I'm not going to be copying. Let me just copy with the center and see, then put it down here. So there's a widget called rich text. So rich text will help you change the color of a particular text in the same line. I don't know if that's understandable. So I'm not going to be doing that here because I want to really maximize time. So for those of you that will be building along, you can find out about rich text so that you can change the color of this login to something else that you like. So let's remove this guy.
I have a question. Shouldn't this text be a what's it called now? A button? Like you don't have an account login.
Chill now. Chill, you see it. That's why I say ask your question on the chat. You
Oh,
see it.
sorry.
If it is not a button, there's no way we can move from here. Just chill. So you necessarily, if you have the knowledge here, there are so many ways you can choose to do your stuff. So let's use the default text size. You can either make it as what's it called, as a text button, or simply what most people do is use, which I'm going to do now. You wrap it with a gesture detector. So gesture detector, as the name implies, is a widget that detects gesture. So it has several, what's it called, several gestures you can detect, you can check for. So let me wrap this guy in. Let's add some space at the top, right? So for here, let's just use a size box. So let's do sized box. I'm really exhausted. I swear, I have a lot of tasks I need to complete. Size box. I hope I can spell properly. So let's do height. Then let's give it a height of like 8.8. Why do I always use 8.0? Let's just give it a height of 8 and see. So let's see what happens. Is 8 okay? Let's do 16. So I once read an article that says when you are adding space to your widgets, do it in multiples of 8. I did not really verify the like reasons why, or the authenticity or the logic behind doing it in multiple of 6, but I guess it's for a very good reason. So I try to do my spacing or spacing or sizing within the multiples of 6 or 8 rather. So this is looking good. So let's wrap. So this is the gesture detector now. So you wrap it with a widget, which is going to be edited to a gesture detector. Gesture detector. So in the gesture detector now, we can choose to check for on pressed, on long press, on double tap, on whatnot, on whatnot. Let's see how many things we can check for. So you see, you can check for on tap cancel, on secondary tab, on tap down, on up detail. So much things you can check for. You know how where to get the documentation for this if you need it. So what we are simply going to be checking for is just the on tap. So on tab now, we want to do this. We want to go to the login page. Let me check what the error is. Is maybe it's on press, not on tab. So function expression can't be named. Okay, maybe it's on press. Let me be sure. This my PC is lagging this evening, and it's probably because of the video recorder I'm using and this guy. So like I taught us before, if you want to use a widget and you've probably forgotten what like most of the what's it called it provides, you can just hover upon the widget and you see it. So it's on tab. So why is it saying I entered it correctly now? So let's do on tab. Oh, I think I did not enter. Okay. So this guy is okay. So you can check for on tap. So now on tap now it should take us to the login screen. So let's create the login screen. I think we already created the file. So we can just build on that file. So sign up page. Wow, what a mistake. So we did everything we are doing now in the sign in page, and we're supposed to do it on the sign up on the what's it called. So let me just copy everything and paste it in our guy here. Then let's fix the error because we changed the folder directory now, the file directory. It's just an import issue. So let's create on our sign-in page. 501. So on our sign-in page, we are going to be using a stateful widget as well. stateful. Okay, so let's call it login. Since we are using login, let's login screen. Oh, can you imagine how this guy is lagging? God, no wonderful. So for my Windows users that are complaining that their PC is lagging, Android Studio will show your processor shaky. Most especially when you now choose to say you want to run an emulator. So let's import our packages, and I'm going to be using material instead of comparting packages to flutter slash material. I don't know how to spell material. Material that's so this is our login page. So let's return a scaffold. So let's go to back to our sign up page and do the navigation on this guy. So we can simply say when you tap on the don't have an account button, something is wrong somewhere. Okay, where is wrong somewhere? Unimplemented. Okay, I grab. Whenever you have this error, it's probably because it has forgotten the previous state or so. So you just port restart your app. It's going to be working perfectly. Okay, we are switched time, right? So we are going to see whenever you press this guy, it take us to the login page. So who can remember how we do navigation again?
Navigator the push.
Yep, that's correct. Navigator dot push. So material page routes. Material page routes, and you pass in your context, then you pass in the widget you want to return. But then you can just simply make like easy and just do view, then put in this guy and then do and then we import. So that is basically it. Up our guy with a constant. Anybody has a question about this? No, I guess. All right, so this is basically navigating from this page to the login page, which we will be doing now. So let's go. So it takes us to the login page, so we can go back because we are using navigator.push. So we've navigated to the login page. So let's go and build on the login page now. So on our login page, what do we need? We need an app bar, right? We need an app bar. Then we need a title of login. Title of what? Text. Login. About come to life. Yep. So should we leave the blue color? Yes, let's leave the blue color. So we can wrap this guy in a constant constructor. Let's just do const. Yep. So now the body, for the body of our, what is it called, of our scaffold, we'll just do body. So like we did the other time, we have to wrap it with a padding so that we can have that space that we used to have in between the edge of the screen and your widget. So pattern. So we do edge insert symmetric. I beg, don't stress me. Let me just copy this guy. You know you can make these guys reusable, right? The reason why I'm doing it from scratch again is because of because of the video for the last session is not available. So that's why I'm doing it from scratch again. If I'm to copy this whole thing to it is defeated. I don't want to write all these things from the beginning. Okay, let me just copy only this guy since it's not auto-completing. So we can just wrap this guy in padding, have a padding widget. We can just do padding inside the symmetric. Let's okay that only. Then we do our child. So now our child is going to be a column widget, which takes in a list of children. Control Z. My head is keeping. I'm not going to lie. So basically, right now you're not going to see any serious change because we've not done any serious change. We are just building the base of our login screen. So let's do hide there. Let's spice this thing up. Let's see if it works, if it works, if it works, if it works, if it works. Yep, works. So hide there. Welcome back. Nope, so let's increase the size of our
Is your PC plugged in? Maybe that's why it's lagged. Maybe it's not plugged in. Are you on battery or is it?
Don't worry, I know why it's lagging. It's because of the video recorder I'm using. It's heavy on my processor and I'm using the simulator as well. So style text style management text style I have like 4 different Android Studio projects opened. Okay, 300 Studio projects open. Okay, so we can do, let's do font suites, font size. Let's use 18. Since we're using 18 in the previous design, let's do font suites. Let's do font suites the bold. Font suites W500. Then for color, let's continue with our black. Then, like we did on the previous screen, which is the login screen, we can wrap our guy as well with the padding. That is not what I'm looking for. Let's just do padding. Then do let's insert the English. So let's insert no geometry, but only. So we add padding to the top and the bottom. Then we proceed top. So let's do like 16. Then bottom, let's do let's do like 20. Bottom like 20. It's going to return an error because this is not correct, and I'm going to fix it now. So we make this guy the child over. So is a child. Sounds is a child. That's this. Then we do this. Up. Yep, we are good to go. Should we add extra space by left? Let's do that. So let's do it. Okay. Alright, so let's have another text before we have our text on field. So instead of me having to write this thing again, so let me just copy and paste. So I'm writing these things, this login page from scratch because of those of us that missed last week's class, and for the fact that there's not a video for last week's class. If not, I would have simply copied the sign up page and then just modify it. I think I'm over it. Yep. So let's just do login. So the reason why this guy also moved to the center is because of this guy here, and we can simply undo that by doing not here, we can say cross axis alignment, Ctrl Z, by setting our cross axis alignment. Why is okay? So we can say cross axis alignment. I told us about this already, so I don't think there's any need repeating what it does. Cross axis alignment dot start. So this guy now will align the children of this column to the beginning of the column, which is yep. So this guy is going to be the only one. So now let's increase that guy and do like, let's do like 25. Then we can do like bottom, let's do like 8 plus 8, 16 plus. Okay, let's just do like 25. Okay, this is not meant to look that beautiful because we're just building from our head without any UI. Okay, so now let's add in our text form widgets. This constructor I added is going to cause error. So let's do text form field. Text form field. So for these guys, the only thing I'm going to do is in text. I think I'll have to copy all of the old design. I don't like writing text form from the scratch. Then I'll explain to us validator. I'll use the validator decoration. I'll use the decoration as well, so I can just copy everything from here. So I will just say, see. Okay, what is your, okay, I know why the error is there. The error is there because I'm using a constant for this scroll name, which is this my guy here, which I'm not supposed to use here. Yep, all things equal. So what this does is this validator validates the text form to check if the text form is null or is empty. Then it returns an error message if it is null or it is empty. Else, it returns null, or you can just simply do return. It's the same thing. Okay, it's not working here, but then you can use return. So it returns null. It doesn't do anything. So that's it. You should see the guy now. Yep, that is the guy. Alright, so this guy is now, okay, it's going to be, should we log in with, let's log in with email and password instead of name and password. So let's do, oh, that was a mistake. Enter email. Then we can just copy this guy and paste it as well instead of stressing ourselves. Then we say what? Enter password. Who is that one knocking my cat? Yep, so let's fix this guy. So we can use a size box. I hope I'm still on the call, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, thank God. Let me say empty and none.
Are we not using a form widget?
Sir?
Are we not using a form widget?
A phone what? Yeah, we are going to use a form widget.
Form.
I'm doing it from scratch so that everybody can see. Don't worry. It's a gradual process. Okay, so is this box, is this thing enough? Did I wrap this guy in? No, I didn't. So let's just use. So to add space between this login and this one now, we are going to be using a size box here after our text widgets. So let's do size. Let's add like 25. Let's drop this guy very low. So let's do like 30. That's it, right? 38 is not even very low. It's like 50. Let's do like 70. Yup, I think 70 is pretty okay. And this guy is fair, is nice like this now. Alright, so we can now add our button. Then before we add our, so for the button as well, I beg you guys, pardon me, I don't want to write it from the beginning. Let me just copy it back. So I'm going to, the button is a reusable widget that we created in the last class. Decoration, text form. Okay, so we put our button here. Yep, it's a reusable widget, so we have to import it. Import our guy. So now, for this form to validate, we have to wrap it with a form widget, right? For this, because basically this is a form, isn't it? It is a form, so we have to wrap it with a form widget that helps us validate all of the form at once. I'm wrapping these guys in the constant because I don't like seeing these green squeaky lines. I always like my code to be. Alright, so where's our first text form? This should be our first text form, right? Yeah, this is it. Then here's our second text form. So above these guys now we can just do like we can just do like a form widget. So this is the form widget. Now this form widget takes in a child, but we are having a child which is one descendant, but now we are having two text form widgets. So we can just simply give it a child of what? A column, because a column can have more than one descendant. So we give it a column and we say children, right? An array of children, and we copy these our guys out or cut them out and then post them here, and everybody's happy. Now, except for our custom button. Our custom button will still also have joy. So I think this space in between them is too small. So let's do like 20. So now, what our form needs again to be able to validate this our guy is called the form key. So that is what we are going to be creating. So we can just do key and pass in the key. We are yet to create the key share, but then I'll create it at the top. So since the name of the key, I already know what it's going to be. It's going to be a key. So I will just go up and create it and the state variable, the state part of the app. So we'll say final form. Okay, final form key is equals to global form key of type form states. Don't worry guys, just be patient with yourself, but at the same time don't sleep. You know all these things. You will definitely know all these things with time. Just give yourself like a proper learning time, a proper learning cycle. So now we are having this rubbish here, right? So let's fix it. Let's add from our button. So let's add space. So let's give it a size. We are going to add space of like enough space. So I'm copying the space from the top to here. So let's make it like 50. So to spice this whole design up, because I am the best designer that ever exists, that is existing in planet Earth, so why not? Let me make it beautiful. Let me do Alaye is not updating. I'm adding space, but it's not adding. Okay, so let me see. What color is this? Is it yellow? Let me go and check from here. What is the color of our app bar? We'll just copy it. Oh, it's going to be hard to add the color. It's orange because our reusable widget does not have a color parameter. So that's simple. We can just go ahead and add a color parameter. Okay, we have a color parameter which is button color. Thank God. So I can just change it to don't place other color, button color. I think I'm not using the button color, so btn color. So we can just put it here and then voila, it should change. Yep. Okay, so we are good to go. Are we? Let's test. So we said here, we say if our form key the current state of validate, right? So if the current state of our form validate it. So if it succeeds, then do this, which is return another screen, push us to another screen. What's it? Push us to another screen, which is a placeholder. Else you just do nothing by returning the error. So let's see what happens. This thing is not going to validate it because we did not pass in our data. Alright, so it did not validate. So the error message is not correct. Allow enter your name. It's supposed to be enter your email. Allow enter your name. So let's fix the error message. So the error message is in our text form. So we can just do allow enter your password. I think I did something wrong there. Let me enter your password. Enter your email address. Alright, so let's debug again. Yep. So this is correct, right? It works as it is supposed to work. So before I proceed, guys, any question on how we built this? Anybody has a
And this
question?
validate.
Eh?
What does the validate check? Is it checking if the text fields are empty or what?
No. The validate, what it does is it checks for your form, right? It checks the form and it checks for the validate. It checks for the validate. What's it called? The validator function you passed.
Method.
Yeah, it checks for the validation function you passed and see if this form satisfied this function. If it satisfies this function, it moves to the next one. See if it satisfies the function, which is if it's validate. Then it does that for as long for like how many forms you have. You get for like how many text form fields you have. So if it does not
Okay.
validate completely, it's going to return an error. It's going to return a false value, printing the error of whatever form field does not validate. You get. So now we can make this guy validate and this other guy not validate. So Gmail.
And I think this in this validator, that's where we can collect taking the value of form.
Yeah. You see that how to save. So you see this guy
That's where
now.
we can make use of it.
Yeah. There's an unsafe. So you say if this guy validates, if it is true, if you see we did here that if the value is equals to null and the value is empty, return an error. This is the error message which we are getting here. Like enter your password, right? But if it succeeds, so you now do unsave. There's another one called you can just do like a save or you can do an unsave. I think it's this guy really lag like this. Why are you printing something?
What kind of form is it? Is it the form that like every single key that is entered is being saved at the same time,
That
or
one
it's
is
saved
in.
at the end?
You can use a value notifier to listen for changes whenever the user is inputting. You can do anything in this validator field. You get. You can write if you are able to write a code that checks if the person has started inputting and it checks the first node and all of that. You do it, but then people use value notifier to do that. So an example of what you are saying is, let's assume this is a search field, right? And you want to search for Ikeja. You know some places when you start writing I, it will start showing you suggestions of the location you are looking for, right? Am I correct?
Yeah.
So they're using a value notifier listener to get like the state of that form to see. So if you start inputting, it quickly return your first initials to the API, places API to search for suggestions of areas with that initial in your locality. So that's just that about that. Any questions about this one, guys, on how we created this login screen? Any other question?
Um, One question:
Yeah,
which other kind of forms do we have apart from this text form?
there is a text field. I don't know all of them, but to be able to know how many form widgets you have, you can just go to the docs.flutter.dev to see as many forms as they are, so that you can use anyone you want to use.
And the text form is different from text field.
Yeah, a text form is different from a text form field. There's a text form and there's a text form field. Just go. That's why the documentation
Sir,
is always your friend. Go and read about it. Yeah, what's your question?
how is your tax bar is has like this back sign.
Mm.
How did it appear?
How did it appear?
Yeah.
This is automatically handled by Flutter. I can make you not see these tags bar now. So let me do something.
Yeah.
This back
For my own,
button. Chill. I can make you not see this back button now. You see from this login. So if I do, let's go to the sign up. So if I do, instead of using a push, right, I will just do push replacement. So push replacement will pop the stack, and then this guy will not have anywhere to be able to go back to. So now it will not have a back button. So not you. So pay close attention when I navigate back. Oh, it's still having this.
Mhm.
I think let me hot restart. But then, okay, the reason why it's still having it is because there's another widget behind. I don't know if you get. Ah, it's going to be somehow complex to explain. So this is how it works here. Let me show you something. Let me use this thing works in it follows the stack principle. Do you know how stack works? Do you know how stack works? Stack, you basically put something, whatever you put at the bottom will remain at the bottom. So if you add another element, where would that element go to?
In front of it.
It will go at the top, not in front. So in front
Mhm.
or behind is an array.
Use slice bread analogy.
A sliced bread. So this is basically a sliced bread. So you see, we are adding one sliced bread. We are using another agege sliced bread. We are adding another agege sliced bread. So provided that you have something under, when you navigate to a new screen, provided that you have another screen under, you have what? A back button.
Back
But
button.
yes, so provided you have a back button, but if you don't have another widget outside of it, you will not have a back button. Do you get? So what we are doing when we do this navigate now, you can see from the way it moves sef, you see that this guy is sitting at the top of this our guy. Do you get? This register
Mhm.
screen is sitting at the top of this our guy. So that is why this back button is here. But then if we do it in a way that when you are navigating, it pops this guy, it takes this guy away, then this guy comes. We will never see the back button. So Flutter handles that for you. Do you get? But then you can actually remove this guy, but you will always be able to go back because your Android phone has a back button. When you press back, it takes you back. Your iOS, when you slide back, it takes you back. I don't know if you understand why that
Oh,
thing is there.
I understand now. Understand.
Yeah.
So if you change it from push replacement to ordinary push, it will
Yes.
not have that button on the original stack
No, if you
from the
push,
first
so
stack.
if you push, since the beginning what we have been doing is push, right? So
Yes.
so what we are doing, let me just start the whole app from beginning so that you understand. From the beginning, the only place where we only did push replacement is on our what's it called on our splash screen, right? So the splash screen
Yes.
automatically pops, which is this guy. This guy will pop now. So you can see that we cannot go back. There's nothing like going back, even if we try to slide. If we are on Android now, if we press back, it just crash the app. But now when we navigate, we are stacking. So we are pushing. So this guy is still there. Do you see this guy is still there? So we have one
Mhm.
screen at the bottom now, right? We go to next again. We
Yes.
have two screen at the bottoms now, right? We go to the next one
Mhm.
again. We have three screen at the bottom, right? Now we now go to this our guy. We have four screen at the bottom now. So even if we navigate and pop, even if we navigate and pop this guy, we are still going to have three screens at the bottom. Do you get? So the back button is still going to be there because he has a screen that he can go to. Do you get? Which is this guy. So if you want to do it in such a way that you don't want it to have a screen you want to go to, that means when you are navigating, you'll be popping everything, or you can use there's something we call named route. So you'll be popping everything, you'll be popping in the sense that you will not have any screen at the bottom. So you will not have that back button. So if you're using push replacement, that means your users cannot go back. Any screen you leave pops. Would you get? But if you're using push,
Yes.
you always be having it on your stack in your stack.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions, guys? Okay, so that should be it. So let's say you have an account and you want to log in, you just click on login. So let's do the same thing for sign up. For login too, let's just copy this guy to avoid writing it from the beginning again. Copy this guy here and just put it here, and then okay, let me just copy to this size box as well. That will save time and stress. So custom button, view. So already don't have an account. Oh, this is wrong, bro. You're supposed to be already have an account. Don't have an account. Register. And none of you noticed it. Well, thank God I noticed it. So don't have okay, have an account. Already have an account. This is supposed to be already have an account. Log in, then don't have an account, sign up. So let's verify you don't have an account. This guy should update. Yeah, already have an account, login, which we can go. Don't have an account, register. So from here on, this guy should take us back to sign up, which we can just then pop from it so that
Hey,
yeah, I can hear you.
how many weeks is left for the bootcamp, please?
Just remaining 1 day, but then we are going to be adding one other day again since the election has been postponed. Sign up. But then
Okay.
weekly we'll be holding classes for you guys weekly to help you solve bugs and answer your question, then teach you one or two. But then I'll be releasing videos on building what's it called, that food delivery app so that everybody can master and get up to
Okay.
speed.
I don't know if probably after this boot camp, if some persons might be interested, like let's just like have a little meetup like this, probably once a week, twice a week, and then we can just like learn from each other because this community is really helpful.
That's it. We are both saying the same thing. So we can just do this guy like this. So we are telling this guy to like when you want to create an account, you navigate back, but then let's just use push replacement. Even if we know that there's something in the stack, but then it closes this guy for us so that we don't have to stack so many login screens when we are going between screens. We stacking it and stacking it. You probably will not understand, but don't worry. You understand when you start building yourself. Login, register. So we cannot go back to login again. We can only go back to register. Okay, this is a navigation error. So login, we cannot when we go from here now, we cannot go back again. But then we have one register screen at the bottom. Okay, so let's pop this guy as well. So let's just pop this guy as well. That way we will not have repetition of.
I think we can use replacement for this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, replacements. So let's pop it as well so that now the user cannot go back, but then they will have to like be using our what's it called? This guy. So now you cannot go back to register. You can only go back to the onboarding screen. Then this guy can not go back to login again. Only onboarding screen. So let's fix this guy as well. This guy is not having login screen. It's having placeholder, right? So let's fix it. Let's go to our last onboarding screen, which is onboarding page 4, and change it to where is it? Okay, next page. So we fix it. Control C. We fix it to login page, right? Login screen and then save. So this guy should take us to login screen. Hey, wait, what is happening? Let me hot reload. This problem. Am I on the wrong this thing? Or should I hot restart? Let me hot restart. It's probably a problem. It's supposed to go to the login screen, not a placeholder. Yeah, there's a problem somewhere. Where could the problem possibly be at? Try to Custom button. Okay, 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 okay. Let me check this guy. Let me see what is wrong. So next button is what? Next page expects a widget, right? Which is if submit is null, we do this, right? Okay, yeah, I did not replace this guy here with a next page. I did not replace this guy here with a next page. So right now I'm tired. I need to do something like the next page. Then why are you giving me an error? Are we using a constant here? The return type widget isn't okay, okay, okay. Which cannot be null. I can just simply say required, but then please pay attention that all of these things we are doing here is just for you to get familiar with the Flutter framework and how to handle like work your ways around widgets and all. For those of you that are already in a hurry to go and look for a job, don't go find job, write code for them like this. So you just go kiri sharp, straight, they'll carry to kiri. So I fixed that, we fixed that error. So now let's build our home page. Let's build our home page.
I have a,
Yeah,
I
what's
have
your
a
what's your
question.
question? What's your question?
So, yeah, so I don't know. I'm trying to make the app bar to the center, and
Abba to the
it's not
center, Bidibao.
like the
That's not
title of
possible
the
though.
like
Okay,
the
you're using Android, right? On Android, it comes to
yes,
the right, right? It comes to the left. So
yes,
this is a simple thing you can do. You can just do there's a parameter there called center title. Then you set it to true. So app bar comes to center title. Then you set it to what to true. It's
true.
going yeah, it's going to fix it for you. It's going to set it at the center for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So that fixes that for you. So let's do our home page. So now to do our home page, I'll replace all these things entirely so that we don't have to go through this rigorous process. So let's create a new folder called, so these are onboarding folder, this is our authentication folder. Let's create our home page folder. Home, let's do home page. So we can simply
Sorry, I think I'm
sir,
like
anything.
I did not get the whole validation thing. No.
Validation thing, don't worry, we'll come back there. So
Okay,
let's
okay.
create our homepage file. I want us to finish this homepage today so that next week we are just doing Firebase integration. Homepage dot that. I hope I have enough time. It's almost 6. Yeah. So homepage dot as a homepage dot homepage dot that, and let's do import. So packages slash flutter slash material dot that. So for those of you that have sent me a message and you notice that I have not responded, the reason being is that I'm not feeling too good and currently I have a lot of tasks on my neck I need to do. So I will reply in due time. I am even supposed to send somebody something and I have not done that. I apologize. Even today's class I had to just squeeze myself and make time. Alright, so home, we're going to name this guy home page since this is our home, our new home page. So we are going to be doing, let's return a scaffold. So let's say you have multiple screens in your app and you want to build a particular screen and you don't want to go back to like you don't want to go through your landing page, your what's it called, landing page, your splash screen, your authentication screen. Just carry that guy, that screen you want to be seen, you want to work on. Go to your main dot dat and replace it as your home, as your home, this thing. So you say home. The reason why I did not delete that and why I comment it is because we can easily uncomment it. I don't know if you get the logic. Then you save. So what we'll have now is that page we are working on. You can just hot restart. So now we'll go to that page without having to go through all these our guides. Then when we are done, we can just add our guide to like the stack. So you see, right? We are in our blank screen, not which we just created. So let's do something. Let's make this guy interactive. Should I copy code? Okay, let me not copy code. Then let me copy some code because I shit. Let me copy some code. Let me even be sure this guy is recording first off. Okay, he's recording. Oh, I closed the app already. And I don't want to write these things from scratch. Oh. How do we do? Okay, so let's do hello students. We don't. Should we have an app bar? No, let's not have an app bar. Let's just have a body. What is this one? Who is asking for a bottom sheet? Body. So let's do like a column. So let's do like children.
Sorry, can you do that profile app bar?
Proper app bar. What do you mean by that?
Profile, like to have that profile. What would I call it? I don't want to call it an icon.
Okay.
Like
What I'm doing
those.
now is similar. You see something like that. So here's what we are
Okay.
going. Hey, here's what we are going to be doing. So we are going to be adding a text in a row. So let's do. First off, let's do this guy. Let's wrap this guy in our safe area, right? So that we don't touch. But then let me not add it in the safe area. Let me add first so that you guys will see why I need to add it in the safe area. So let's do a row. You know we've been using controller all this. We've been using I say controller. We've been using column all this while. So column arranges its children from the top to bottom or top bottom to top, whatever way you want to do that. And a row arranges its children from right to left, left to right, depending on how you want to arrange it. So now let's have like a text widget. We are using who's asking you for text widget. We are using a text widget and we are going to be saying so this is our first text. Can anybody see my text? Do you know where it is? Do you know
It's at the top, is hiding at that place, it's hiding at, at the whatever.
yeah.
Top left,
We
yeah,
can
top
just
left, top
use
left.
that's why we'll be using a safe area to prevent it
Area.
from safe area widget to prevent it from entering or touching the notch of the app on his phone. So you see his back. So Bala blue. Yes, now
But why did it bring that blue and black stuff?
what did you say? Blue and black is when you are out of range. You get when you are out
Okay,
of
but
range.
why now?
Currently is in range, but you cannot see it. It is touching the notch, like it is touching the notch of the screen. It
Okay.
is in range. Let me make it out of range so that you see. So let me remove this safe area, Ctrl Z Z, then make it out of range by adding a if you have a column here by adding a size box of like 50. Who will be this one? Who is singing a beg? I'm a child of God. So let's do height, right? Height of like 200. So let's see if it pushes it. Okay. So let's do like 500. But the thing there is not it's not going to push it here. So you see, right? It's no longer in range. Like the space has gone down. You get the amount of space I put, it is outside of the range. It has overflown. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It
Thank you,
has
sir.
overflown. Command Z Z Z Z Z Z Z. Okay. No. That's not what I want. Z Z Z. press. No, I cannot go forward again. Alright, I can't. So let's just do colon. So children. Let's have what's row. Then we have what children. Then we have our text widgets, which is going to be town hall.
Well done.
Different from Blabach. So I'm having an error here because we are using the constant in our scaffold and it's not supposed. So let's use an emoji to say our town hall is different from Balado. A town hall is different.
Jump now.
So let's do it with a
Voila.
Yep. So here we are. So the other thing we can do now is pay attention to what I'm about to do, guys. So I want to add an icon, just like how my dear friend talked about. Icon. So I'm going to be adding an icon, right? And the icon should be icons dot. So pay attention, guys. You see these things are touching each other, right? So we can simply do, which color should I give it? So let's give it the color of green. So there is a method that allows you to space these guys out, which I'm going to be showing us shortly. But then I don't know what is wrong. I am forgetting how to spell. Green. Yep. So let's now wrap this guy. So the other day I was talking about a widget, right? It's called cycle avatar, right? So we are going to be using it now. A cycle avatar is a widget that you can use to put what is it called, profile picture and whatnot, like small icons and all of that. So cycle avatar is just basically a small circle. It's not a dot, it's a comma. So this is the circle avatar. So we'll make our, oh, okay, I'm recording my screen, okay. Command X. Yep. So what color should I make my circle avatar? Give me a color.
Lime. Lime. Gray.
The color that goes well with background is background color, right? Background color should be, okay, let's try gray. That gray you talk makes sense. Colors dot gray. Nah, is there something like that? I mean no spell out. Yeah, there is.
Spell out.
Okay, gray. So we can do gray dot shade of 50. Let's see what happens. Hey, wait, what is happening? Okay, I'm using a constant in some way. Where am I using a constant that is returning this error? Who's that? You have a question? Go ahead.
The where you're using constant is from the rule that children which you want that constant.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Nice. Shade of 50 is not 15 at all. This is 50 shades of gray. Wow. Shades of 800. That was. I hope there's no children in this call. So you guys will not go and drag me on Twitter when they no come to cancel me. Okay, like this is okay, right? So now pay attention to what I want to do now. So this is what I'm doing. Just pay attention to it. So I'm going to do it then see what you think when there's alignment. Do you notice how the two of them spaced out?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's with a particular method in the row widget. It is available in row, it is available in column. So you can use it to, like, if you are having like a finite amount of widgets that you want to add even spaces between them. So you can use the either main axis alignment or cross axis alignment dot space between, depending on the widget you are using. Maybe it's column or it's row. So because you are using a row, its main axis is what is the vertical axis. If we were using a column, the main axis will be what, the horizontal axis. So if we do main axis alignment or space between in a column widget, which we have like this guy and this guy under. So this guy will be at the top, this guy will be at the bottom. Do you get? It will add the space in between
Please,
them.
can you,
Can I do what?
for the column,
Uh,
you're saying that for the column, that is it that the cross axis will be on top?
Let me just show you. Let me sim The simple way to do that is by replacing this guy with a column. We have not gone too far, so it's not going to give me an error. So help me God. Yes. So let's do. Why are you not adding? So let's do cross axis alignment of space between. So cross axis alignments. It's not supposed to be cross axis alignment. It's supposed to be main axis alignment. Yep. It's supposed to be main axis alignment. So there's a reason why this is not working on the column. Is it because I have another column outside? I just hope I am able to come back when I do this change. Yep. Do you see it?
Yes.
Do you see it? So you know when we talk about column, we say a column arranges its children from the top to bottom, right? What axis is that? That is the horizontal axis, right? This axis is the horizontal axis. So the main axis of a column widget is the horizontal axis. Is okay, this is the vertical axis. I mistake these two things. Is this the vertical axis? Okay, so
That's a
the
horizontal.
àlàyé.
This is the vertical axis. This column. This is the vertical axis.
Nah, that's not vertical axis, bro. Let me just do. Let me go. Let me do.
That is why now. Vertical axis has to do with height, horizontal has to do with width.
Yeah. So this is the vertical axis. So the main axis of a column is the vertical axis. So when you say main axis alignment dot space between, so it takes the children and it wraps them, it spaces them out to like the top of the screen and the bottom of the screen. Do you get? So let's say we have like a third widget here, which is, let me just introduce another widget, which is going to be just a duplicate of something, duplicate of this guy. Where do you think the third widget will be at? Let me see. Where do you think it's going to be at?
The middle.
You're correct. So it's going to be at the middle. So it takes them and it spaces them out. If we do the same thing, it spaces them out like equal spaces here, equal spaces here, equal spaces here. So the main axis of the column is what is here, and the vertical axis, right? Yeah, the vertical axis, and the main axis of the row is the horizontal axis. So let me wrap this my guy back with a column. I don't know. Do you understand the concept of this space? Do you understand the concept of this space between?
Yes.
So you don't have to be using a
Yeah.
size box now to now. Yeah, that's great. You don't have to be using a size box now to now say you want to be adding space, small children. So I'm trying to revert the code base back to how it used to be. All right, so we are using a row here, right? So we do, yep. So we are back to normal. So you see that trick I told us the other time, adding like a constant padding in our widget. So you just add it to your very first column, which is going to be by wrapping your column with a padding. Then normally it is going to be horizontal. So symmetric. So you can do horizontal. It's Yup. So do you notice the space? Do you notice the space?
Yeah.
So let's do 10. But then I always like multiple of. So you can just do I'm trying to guess something I want to do here. I don't want to make it too complex. Hello. Let's just do welcome. Welcome. Right? So let's fix this guy, which is you can style. We are almost done for today, guys. Let's do text fonts. Why are you doing baseline? Control Z. Text font size, font width, that's W 400. How about we use W 400 and increase the font size? So font size. Font size is equals to, let's do 20. Let's do how about we use W500? Then we have a little space between these two guys and see here. So we can now say let's keep on going. Our row. So after our row, we add another text widget. So basically, we didn't copy.
I'm sorry, I have a question.
Yeah, what's your question? Go ahead. What's your question?
Like, I see what you're trying to do on the app. Can't you create an app bar, make the app bar transparent, and use the welcome as the leading text and the circle avatar as the action? Wouldn't that work? So wouldn't that give us the same thing?
It's going to work, but most likely, like I enjoy doing it like this. So if you are building your own, you can actually use that. You get, so you don't have to follow my own pattern. I enjoy doing it like this, so you can just do your own. It's definitely going to work. Yep. So let's reduce this guy to like let's say like 16. Here your tax forever for the so how do I make this guy to come to this side now? Guys, how do I make my here are your tags for today to come to the left side of the screen?
Because Cross
Alignment.
Correct. The person
Yeah,
that said cross axis alignment, you are very right. So cross axis alignment dot start. Axis alignment dot what? Dot start. So that will shift my guy there. Yep. Then now let's create. We are going to be working with containers now. So guys, pay close attention. So let's create a container that holds our tags. Let me give it enough space so that you can see what I'm writing. So let's do what's I'm outside of my column. Yep, I'm outside of my column. Who are you? So let's do what? Container. So let's give it a height of like 50. It's not going to show because
200.
let's see what it looks like first before we say 200. So width. So you know the other day I showed you how you can get the full width of the screen, right? But then here's an easier way. Not expanded.
Yeah, wait.
Media query, exactly. It's not expanded, but here's another easier way. But
Okay,
sometimes it
that's
shows,
perfect.
yeah. So we can now give it a color of like, let's see what we have. Colors dots orange. Yup. So this is our.
Alright.
Okay. So let's first off add our sized box to this guy. So that this guy will
There's
be.
one question.
Yeah, what's your question? Height.
This can I set this line in VS Code? Or this line that shows a
Yeah, you can set your linter. There's a custom way to like set your linter.
it's called linter.
Yeah, links. Yeah, it's links.
Link.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I have a question.
Yeah, what's your question? That's it.
Yeah, how do I know when I am to use the cross-axis alignment?
If you know, let's say you're using a row, right? You know the main axis of a row is what? The main axis of a row is the vertical, right? Which we settled is the horizontal, right? So the main axis of a row is the horizontal. So if you do you can only do main axis alignment or cross axis alignment. So if you are doing main axis alignment, that means you are trying to arrange the stuff in the horizontal axis, which is the main axis of the row. But now you want to arrange, let's say you have something in a row, you have one element and you want another element. You have a row that has a column as a child, part of its children. So you can use cross-axis alignment. It will arrange it top to bottom. You understand better when you code more. If I try to go in depth, I might just confuse you.
So I have a question.
Yeah, what's your question?
Is it necessary to use size box?
It is. Come again.
You can pad. So
I think the container PGS has a padding.
Yeah, you can use what's it called? It depends on your taste, right? The thing here is for you to be able to like get familiar with this widget and know how to like maneuver them. Like now you can hover upon this guy to see all of the facilities it provides you, but there is edge insert geometry, which is a pattern, so you can use that. You get it depends on your taste now and what works well for you.
Right, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome, sir. So let's do decorations. Right now, we want to decorate our container. So we use a box. This is what Kausara taught us the other day. For those of us that attended the third class, right? Yeah. Box decoration. So if you are doing your box decoration, you cannot have a color inside the box, inside the container again. So you have to like put it inside of the decoration. So this my guy should be here, or else we are going to have an error. Or let me just show us the error so that we'll know whenever we have such errors. So you see the error cannot provide both a color and a decoration to both. To provide both, use decoration. Blah, 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 blah. Simply, this boils down to saying You cannot have a decoration and still have a color, because the box decoration provides you with the parameter to input a color. So we are going to cancel this guy out and put it inside of the box decoration, so it should fix our error. Nothing is going to change basically because we just moved the color. And yeah, you might get red screen like this telling you that all it's just doing is signifying the same error. So yep, so we can just do this guy like this. This constant is very useless because I'm going to change it. We can double dot infinity is not the best way to go, but then there are places where you need it mainly. So mainly you can just use media query